So we're gonna start doing the stucco on my house. And I just want to let you guys know that I've never done stucco before. I've done some parging, but this is the product that we're going to be using. I haven't even really used this, but I'm really happy with it already, because this bag right here is 30 pounds, which normally if this was like regular mortar or something, it would be like 80 to 100 pounds. This is a big bag. So this is extremely lightweight. It's fire resistant, water resistant, and this is actually an insulated mix. So I've chosen this spot to start my first batch on, and so we're gonna mix this up. We're gonna use this mesh right here, which is a non-adhesive mesh. I had some of the adhesive mesh, but it's a real pain to work with. So we're just gonna use a pool trowel. We're gonna mix this up. We're gonna do this area. I'm gonna apply it 3/8 of an inch thick for the first coat. We're going to let that dry, and then you'll do another 1/8 inch on top of that for the finished coat. So the first thing we've done is pressure wash off all the yellowness on these forms, which is from the UV rays. And I've also filled in some spots where the chickens were getting into the foam here. They were pecking at it, so there was big holes here and there. So I filled in that with just some regular Great Stuff foam. So at this point, this side is all ready to go. I'm not going to go up to the corner because the corner is going to be where it's a little bit complicated. I got several different corner beads, so I'm just going to hang back from the corner a little bit just so that we don't have to deal with that right now. Plus I have this fence hanging here right now. So let's get right into it. Yes. Get something. Does that mesh go on after the fact? Okay. Probably. love today? Is that what you said?
This is the part where I need gloves. Well. Oh god. It doesn't stick too well.
Well, I got this part stuck. If you just hang on. So here's the next day on this north side, which didn't see any sun. This is still a little bit soft. It's hard to see on camera, but it's just the first coat, so it doesn't need to look that great, but it's still a little bit soft. I could probably actually trowel it out to make it smoother, but there's no point because it's only the first coat. This side is the first wall that we did, and that had a chance to set up. Plus it's on the south side, so it's getting some sun, and it's much harder. I also was playing around with the texture to try to see what I could do, and I just took a wet sponge and I made this texture, which is almost like a popcorn, which I'm not totally sure if that's really what I want. I wanted it a little bit smoother than that, but I'd probably be happy with that if that's all I could get. And remember, this is just the first coat, so I was just messing around with it. I think if I waited longer before I started sponging it out, it'd probably have a smoother texture, but we'll see. So the goal now is to move over to the other side of the house. So the goal now is to get this north side of the house done because this never sees any sun. All three of the other sides of the house will see some sun, so that'll help them dry quicker. Which, it's pretty cold out right now, so that's what we need. So this side is important that we get it done first because it never sees any sun. So when it starts to get a lot colder, this is going to struggle to dry before it freezes. So we're going to try to get this side done, and we're going to start right now. The first thing I need to do is get these windows finished. So I need to run some more of the liquid flashing over the flanges first before I can do anything.
Well, that comes out a lot easier than it used to.
Yeah, it'll be even better when it warms up too. That's good. Let me just try that. Just try your side over there.
It is not a drip-free gun.
I guess we'll have to do a little bit more than that.
Okay.
Get a little bit up here too. I think the trick is to stop pushing on it like quite a bit before you have to end it.
Key is to hit that button. Done.
I bet this is pretty satisfying to watch somebody do it. I bet it is. I just need to get that other
a hawk and a trowel, I could do stuff.
I think we're gonna get to the point where we're all gonna be doing it a little bit, because otherwise I'm never gonna get it done.
Give me that other trowel. Permanent decoration lights up.
I don't really need this anymore, I guess. The hardest part is just getting it on the wall without getting it everywhere. Once you get it on the wall, it's easy to spread out. This is a good consistency though, it's perfect. Hey, if you get good at this, then you can probably start taping for me. Nope.
Cricket?
I think one of the biggest tricks we're going to find is that we really don't need to worry about the rough coat too much. It just kind of is what it is. So right now we're at the point where we're gonna try doing the finish coat on this side. And what I wanna try is using a sprayer, because I've seen other people doing stucco, they use a sprayer. So I bought these two different guns here, and I don't know if either one of them are gonna work, but they were both pretty cheap, so I figured it's worth trying. That one I got at Harbor Freight for like $60. This one I ordered online for $60 or so. So I figured it's not a big investment to try them. I think this is for thicker stuff, and this is more for a finish coat. So we might be able to thin it down enough to use this one. I'm hoping we can use this one. It seems like it's easier to use. This one seems like it's more of a mess, but it will probably get the thicker stuff easier. So we'll mix the max amount of water that they say on the bag to use, and we'll see if that one will work first. And if that one works, we'll probably stay with it. So for this final coat, I'm going to give it some color. I'm going to use this iron oxide pigment, and this is charcoal. And I'll measure it out with this to see what color I want.
Mix it.
nothing. What?
I said, oh yeah.
I mean, it's in the soffit's in my way though. That seems like it worked. I gotta put more on.
Yeah.
Oh, at least it's easy to blend it into the last section.
Yeah, if you ever look at the pillars, like when you walk in a pipe shop or whatever, they look just like that.
Yeah.
You can touch it. That's the thing.
What I was doing is you get it so it's completely covered, and then even just a little bit more after that. That's about how much I was looking for. I get a little close. As soon as you get below this, you get closer to it.
bad, but I didn't know it was gonna be that bad.
Oh man. Oh. Well, I guess we know what we're gonna spend the majority of the day doing. The rest of the day doing. Clean up.
Clean up aisle 74.
Don't even worry about it. It's gonna just wear on you.
Every time.
So I know I showed like a week's worth of work in the last 5 minutes on time lapse, but we are to the point where we just need to get this side finished up and the face of this side, and then my front entrance, the two sides in the front of that. So we should be able to wrap that all up today. And everything's been going pretty good. This sprayer's been working pretty good. The texture has been coming out pretty good, although not quite as good as I thought. It's still working out pretty good. And I've also been using these corner beads, which is a vinyl corner bead that you would use for taping, like spackling a wall. And I used some Gorilla Glue construction adhesive to adhere it to the wall first, the day before. And then I've been just taking the trowel and just sort of filling in all the holes when we're spraying this, which is working okay. It doesn't blend in the best, but it's not the worst either. So you can see there's like a line right there, but that's because it's thicker and it's still drying. So that should blend in a little bit better. And now that it's filled in, because there's quite a bit of thickness there, now that it's filled in, if I really am bothered by the way it looks, I could respray that whole area and then do the same texture that I have everywhere else and blend it in better. But as of right now, I'm just not worried about it at all. It's just not really a concern of mine. I'm trying to leave it as rough as possible so that it kind of blends in, but I do like this nice sharp edge, which is not really sharp, but it's sharp compared to what it was without it. It's got like a 3/16 radius on it, which is perfect. I like that. Makes it nice and clean looking. They had a bullnose edge, but I like this better. And there's nothing to rot underneath there. Everything is, that's vinyl, so it's not gonna rot away. So we just need to spray that, and that, and then we have a little bit left from this side, which this was not enough to do a full bag, so that's why we left it for today. So we finished this up just in the nick of time because it's like above freezing for the next day, and then after that the temperatures are supposed to drop again, and we're supposed to get freezing temperatures at night and some during the day. So like I said, this stuff takes a while to dry, so there's some areas that are still drying and some that are drier, and that's why you see a lot of color variation or shade variation anyways. Like you can see the corner, but I just got that. And then this area here. And overall, I'm not exactly totally thrilled with the look, but it's not too bad. I can live with it. The problem with having inconsistencies is if you have the inconsistencies inconsistent, then it doesn't really work that well, which is kind of the case here. But if you can consistently be inconsistent, then it looks a lot better. But that's not really the case here. But at this point, this will get me my CO, so that's really what I'm concerned about. And for those of you that don't know what a CO is, that's a certificate of occupancy, which means you can live there legally. So we just have a few more things to wrap up to get that CO. And one of the things, and I don't even think this is really a requirement, but I'm going to do it anyways, I got to get all the soffit and fascia wrapped up. So I decided that I'm going to leave the foam there because we started to tear the foam off and it is a nightmare to get out of there. So I figured if it's adhered to the concrete that well, let's just keep it there and we'll fill in all the imperfections and paint it. So I'm going to paint that white, and I got to incorporate a drip edge for the E-vents so that I can put a gutter in, because right now the water just rolls down the face of the surface of the concrete, so that's not really what you want if you have gutters. So I'm going to incorporate a drip edge into there, and we will get the soffit and fascia looking a lot better than it is now. And then I'm going to put some permanent lights going around the whole building, those smart LED lights. And then that way, like when it's Christmas, you can have Christmas themes, and when it's Halloween, you can have a Halloween theme, and so on and so forth. And if you noticed, when we were doing the first coat on this side, I had a big light up there that was really bright. I bought a 50,000 lumen light. It's like for stadiums and stuff, and I got to put it back up there along with, I had a security camera and stuff, so we got to put all that stuff back up. But that light lights up this entire area at night, like a baseball stadium or something. Overall though, I'm very happy with the product. Use Stucco, and I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can check it out too. If you're doing an ICF house and you want some stucco, that's the product to use. And I was very happy with all the different things about it. And you can also use it for other kinds of applications too. Like if you want to put it on a wood house, you just have to put some lath, or you can put some foam on the house and then just apply that to the foam with the fiberglass mesh that we use. I think they do have a different product that you can use for a better finish coat, but I just wanted to use this product just so it's all in one, because trying to calculate how much I needed was not easy, because it really depends on how consistent you are about putting a certain thickness on. And I knew that was going to be a nightmare, because I don't want to run out and be a few bags short. That would be like the worst thing. And then I don't want to over order a lot either, because it's a little bit expensive. And I still have to do those little cheek walls up there. That's the only thing I didn't finish, those two cheek walls right there. So I got to add some XPS foam there, and then I got to do the same thing I did down here. And then I got to flash it into the roof. I can handle that like on the weekends here. I got so many other different projects that I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to get my slab poured over there and a few other things going on, and I need to get the CO for this house. So we've been working inside doing different things for that. If there's a few things that I could give you guys a trick, if there's a few things that I could give you guys some tips on, the first thing would be to not care so much about the first coat. Just slap it on there just about as quick as you can get it on there. You're gonna waste some on the ground, it's just going to happen. In this case, I'm not worried about anything being on the ground. That's why we didn't really cover it up, because I left this intentionally a little bit low so that we can add some stone or some topsoil around here. So pretty much everything around this building is going to be about a foot higher than it is right now. So that's why I'm not concerned about this stuff here, because we're just going to cover right over that. So that's not even worth trying to mess with laying down some plastic or whatever, tarps. We had problems with some high winds, so the tarps just weren't going to work. But when we started out on this side, it was pretty slow going. And then as we started to get into it more, I realized just more and more how it didn't really matter about the first coat. You just sort of slap it on there as quick as you can. And I was using the Hawk, and basically once I got better at it, I was emptying that Hawk within 10 seconds each time. So we were just going through a massive amount of material, and you just throw it on the wall and then you spread it around. The hardest part is getting it on the wall without dropping it on the ground. But if you work really quick with it, you can just sort of splat it on the wall, and then once it's on the wall, it's easy to smear it around. And also, the consistency of the stuff matters too. The quicker you can work, the less it'll set up and it'll stay nice and fluffy. We found that we wanted to use the maximum amount of water that they said on the bag to achieve the thinnest mix, so that it's more like a whipped cream almost, which made it a lot easier to work with. I remember at first, and going back on the videos, I was like cringing, because when we were up there doing that, and when we were on the backside doing the first part that we did, we made it too thick, and it made a lot more work. So we learned to add a little bit more water, and it made it a lot easier. So a few years down the road, if this look really bothers me, I may try to spray something on here that gives it a texture when you're spraying it on, because I really did like the texture when we were just spraying it on. I liked the texture, just leave it alone and don't knock it down. But the problem was, it was a little bit inconsistent. Like, there was blotches of liquid spots everywhere, and I didn't really like that. There wasn't too many of them, but it was enough to not really be something that I wanted to do. Going back and seeing how this looks now, I probably actually would have done just the spray and just didn't knock it down, because it actually probably would have looked better than it is now, but it's too late now. So I'm thinking 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road or something, maybe I'll try to mix up some sand with some paint and just spray it on there, and that way everything's nice and consistent looking, almost like a stucco sand finish, but sprayed on, so it's a lot less work. The hardest and most time consuming thing about that would be taping off the windows and doors. The spraying part's really quick. You could spray this whole house in probably a whole day if you had machines set up in the right spots. But taping off the windows would take like a day or two by itself. But like I said, this is fine for now. This will get me my CO. It finishes the house on the outside, so that's all I'm concerned about. And in the future, maybe I'll have time eventually to do something better, but for right now, I'm just not worried about it. But that's it for this video, guys, and I will catch you on the next one.